Dear students, today I am going to take second poem of the book Flamingo. Title of the poem is An Elementary Classroom in a Slum. Written by Stephen Harold Spender. Stephen Harold Spender was born on 28 February 1909 and passed away on 16 July 1995. He was a great poet, essayist, novelist, critic, and politician. So he wrote so many books, and some of books I am going to mention you. So first of all, The Burning Cactus. It is one of the novel written in 1936. Then he wrote next novel, The Backward Son, and it was published in 1940. He wrote next book, that is the novel, The Temple. It was written in 1929 but was published after 49 years in 1988. Some other works of Stephen Harold Spender are Spiritual Exercises that he wrote in 1943, Selected Poems in 1965, and he wrote The Express in 1966. So he wrote so many books, so many essays, so many dramas, so many novels, and there is a long list. I am not going to tell about each of them. Now let us come to the poem An Elementary Classroom in a Slum. So this poem is about the social injustice and class inequality. So see the lines of the poem. As you see, there is no rhyme scheme in the poem, so it is written in free verse. So far, far from gusty waves. Far, far from gusty waves means far away from the open wind, strong wind. Gust means strong wind. So far away from gusty waves, there is not blowing of wind because they live in slum. So in this poem, there is the description of the slum children. So slum children live in congested area. So there is no open air for them. So far, far, far from gusty waves. They live far away from the wind. Gusty waves, the waves that are full of air, wind. So they live far away from wind. There is no open air to breathe. These children's faces like rootless beads. So many figures of speech are used in this poem. Far, far. Here is a repetition of word. So here this poem begins with a repetition and again alliteration, same sound word, far from. So the poem begins with alliteration, repetition and alliteration. And next figure is here, the children's faces like rootless beads. So faces of children are compared with rootless beads. So beads are, so here is the use of simile. Which figure is used here? The poet has used the figure of speech simile. So these children's faces like rootless beads. He is comparing the faces of children of the slum to the rootless beads. As the rootless beads are the unwanted plants. As unwanted plants dry when they are out of root, so they become dry. So the faces of those children are dry like rootless beads. Beads, unwanted plants without roots. The hair torn round their pallor. Here one more figure is used. The hair torn round their pallor the tall girl with her bowed down head. The hair turned round their pillar. The hair of those children are scattered, torn round their pillar, round their faces, dull faces. The tall girl with her bowed down head. And here is the description of one of the girl who is tall. The tall girl with her bowed down head. She is depressed. That tall girl is depressed, and that is why she lowered her head. The paper seeming boy. The paper seeming boy. There is description of one of the boy also. And how is the boy? The boy is as thin as paper. The paper seeming boy. The poet has used metaphor here. He compared the boy with paper, with rat's eyes. His eyes are looking like rats, eyes of rats, because he is big and his eyes are shining in the sockets. So his eyes are looking like the eyes of rats. The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones. The stunted means undeveloped. So the boys, the children were undeveloped, unlucky heir. They were the generations successors. Heir means successors. They were the successors of the unlucky parent. They were the successors. They were unlucky because of twisted bones. They were the successor of those people whose bones were twisted, bent. Reciting a father's gnarled disease. Here reciting. So here is the use of pun. The reciting is giving two meaning, double meaning is given. Cite means quote. Quote, quotation. So reciting a father's gnarled disease. So they are quoting. Who are quoting? The slum children are quoting a father's gnarled disease. The disease of father. What disease? As they could not develop, their bodies were gathered, twisted. His lesson from his desk. Here, another meaning of reciting is recitation, noun, and recite is verb. So reciting means doing recitation. His lesson from his desk. They are reciting his lesson from where? The boy is reciting his lesson from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. At back of the dim class. He is sitting at the back side of the classroom that is not ventilated, there is no light, no air, etc. So here the classroom is dim. One unnoted. No one is noticing, no one is paying attention towards such boys that are living in slums, and those boys who attend the classes that are dim out of light and air. Sweet and young. That boy is unnoted, no one is paying attention towards that sweet and young boy. So he is also like other boys, but no one is paying attention towards the condition, pitiable condition of such boys. His eyes live in a dream. His is used for the boy. So his eyes live in a dream. Whose eyes? Eyes of the boy. His eyes live in a dream. They have a dream in his eye. Those boys of slum have dream. So the boy has one of the dream in his eye of squirrel's game. So they want to see the game of squirrel out in open. Where? In a tree room. In the room of tree where the squirrels live. Other than this means other than that slum. So the boy wants to see the game of squirrels out of slum somewhere else in open. So I think this stanza is clear to you. We shall discuss next stanza in next video. Thank you.